Hello everybody! In this video lesson, we will review how to tell the time and complete telling time exercises. Let's start by looking at this clock. Remember that a clock has numbers from 1 to 12 and two hands that rotate in this direction. The long hand tells us the minute and the short hand tells us the hour. These little lines tell us the minutes. There are 60 minutes in an hour. Let's practice telling time exercises. Look at the clock and write the time. The hour hand is pointing to 4, so the hour must be 4. The minute hand is pointing to 12, which is 0 minutes. So, what time is it? It is 4:00. Let's have a look at the next one. The hour hand is pointing to 7. So the hour must be 7. The minute hand is pointing to 12. So, what time is it? It is 7:00. Let's have a look at this one. The short hand is pointing to 10. We know this is the hour hand. The hour of the day is 10. The minute hand is pointing to 12. We know that means o'clock. So, what time is it? It is 10:00. Good job. In this exercise, the time of the day is given on the digital clock. We will draw the hands on the clock face. As you can see, the digital clock is telling us that the time is 3:00. Remember, we use the short hand to tell us the hour. Let's draw a short hand on 3. The long minute hand must be pointing to 12. Good job. Let's continue with the next one. Look at the digital clock. It's telling us it is 10:00. The first numbers on the digital clock show us the hour, so we must draw a short hand pointing to 10. We know that 00 means 12. We draw a minute hand on 12. So, what time is it? It is 10:00. Let's look at the next clock face. The digital clock is telling us it is 8:00. The hour must be 8, so we draw an hour hand pointing to 8. We know it is 8:00. To be able to say o'clock, we must draw a minute hand pointing to 12. Good job. Let's continue with some more exercises. But first of all, let's look at this clock as a short reminder. Now you must have noticed that I divided this clock into two halves. Remember, both hands go all the way around from here to here. The half of 60 is 30 minutes. Let's practice together. Look at this clock face. The shorthand is pointing between 1 and 2. Remember, the hands move in this direction. The shorthand has moved past the 1, but it hasn't reached the 2 yet. So we know the hour is 1. Now let's look at the minute hand. The minute hand is pointing to 6. We know that it means 30 minutes. So, what time is it? It is 1:30. We can also say it is 1:30. Let's continue. The shorthand is pointing between the 3 and 4, so the hour must be 3. The minute hand is pointing to 6. We know this means 30 minutes. So, what time is it? It is 3:30. We can also say it is 3:30. Let's look at the last exercise. The shorthand is pointing between 8 and 9, so we know the hour is 8. The minute hand is pointing to 6. We know that means 30. What time is it? It is 8:30. We can also say it is 8:30. In this exercise, the time is given on the digital clock. We will draw the hands on the clock face. As you can see, the digital clock is telling us that the time is 2:30. We know that the first number on the digital clock tells us the hour. Remember, we use the shorthand to show the hour. So let's draw a shorthand pointing between the numbers 2 and 3. The minute hand has to show 30 minutes. So we will draw a minute hand pointing to 6. Let's continue. Look at this digital clock. The time is 6:30. Let's draw the hands. The shorthand tells us the hour. So we draw a shorthand between the 6 and 7. The minute hand shows us the minutes. We draw a long hand on the 6. Good job. So, what time is it? It is 6:30. We can also say it is 6:30. And for this one, what time is it? It is 2:30. We can also say it is 2:30. Let's look at this example. Here we can see the digital clock is telling us the time is 9:30. We draw a shorthand pointing between the 9 and 10 to show us the hour. Then, to show us the minute, we draw a long hand pointing to 6. So, it is 9:30. We can also say it is 9:30. Let's continue with Let's continue with the quarter past. Remember, a clock can be divided into 4 parts. Each part is called a quarter. Each quarter equals 15 minutes. When the long minute hand moves from here to here, we know that it has moved 15 minutes. Remember, a quarter equals 15 minutes. Let's practice. Look at the clock and write the time. As you can see, the hour hand is pointing to 1. The long hand is pointing to 3. So the hour must be 1 and the minute must be 15. What time is it? It is 1:15. We can also say it is 1:15. Let's look at the next exercise. The hour hand is pointing to 2, so the hour must be 2. The minute hand is pointing to 3. We know that it is 15 minutes. So, what time is it? It is 2:15. And we can also say it is 2:15. Let's look at the next exercise. The hour hand is pointing to 6, so the hour must be 6. The minute hand is pointing at 3. Remember, these little lines are minutes. Let's count. 5, 10, 15. So, what time is it? It is 6:15. We can also say it is 6:15. Good job. Now, here we will draw the hands on the clock face. Let's look at what the digital clock is showing us. As you can see, here it says 5:15. The hour is 5. So, let's draw a shorthand on 5. And a long minute hand pointing to 3. So, what time is it? It is 5:15. Let's continue. The digital clock is telling us that the time is 10:15. The hour is 10. And the minute is 15. Let's draw a shorthand pointing to 10 and a long hand pointing to 3. What is the time? It is quarter past 10. Let's continue with the last exercise. The digital clock is telling us it is 12:15. The hour must point to 12. Let's draw a shorthand pointing to 12. The minute is telling us that it is 15 minutes, so we draw a minute hand pointing to 3. What time is it? It is quarter past 12. Good job. Remember, we can divide a clock into 4 parts. Each part is a quarter. Each quarter means 15 minutes. When the minute hand is on this side, we can use the expression to. Let's practice with these exercises. Look at the shorthand. It's pointing between 2 and 3. Remember, the hands move in this direction. So we know the hour is 2. The long hand is pointing to 9. 9 means 45 minutes. So on the digital clock, this would say 2:45. Another way we can say is, it's a quarter to 3. Now, look at this clock. The shorthand is pointing between the 4 and 5, so we know the hour is 4. The long hand is pointing to 9. 9 means 45 minutes. So on the digital clock, this would say 4:45. Another way we can say is, it's a quarter to 5. Here, the digital clock tells. Let's continue with this exercise. The shorthand is pointing between 12 and 1, so we know the hour is 12. The minute hand is pointing to 9, so we know that is 45 minutes. What time is it? It is 12:45. Another way we can say that is, it is a quarter to 1. Thank you for watching. See you next time.